John said discovery, and Marge said awareness. I discovered over 3 years ago something in the northwest from a owner of an architectural firm. She said that her business was booming, but she was having trouble talking to her employees. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I walked into a 24-year-old's office, and he had, of course, his earbuds on, his earphones, listening to music while he was working, and on his desk was an iPod. He was watching a movie as he was building a hospital on CAD, and as she walked into the left, he quickly hides to the right to text his girlfriend, as she was unable to see him text, his thinking was. I looked at her, I said, that's not true. She said, it was true. I said, what'd you do? She said, Amy, first time in 20 years, I lost my mind. She said, held her head, and she said, what are you thinking? Because in her old age of 49, there was no way possible that this young man could do quality work with so much distraction. So research tells us that this group must have multiple distractions while they learn. You up early. In any case, let's talk about who they are. The ages first. Gen Y, or the millennials, and we'll go into the names. Gen Y is 13 years old to 30, 28 to 30. Gen X is 30 to 47. The baby boomers are 47 to 63. The silent generation is 63 on. Silent meaning they were a silent generation. They didn't talk a lot about things. They also saw, they call it the Great Generation, Great Wars, Great Depression. Names, millennials, Generation Y, the me generation. My favorite is echo boomers. They echo the size of the baby boomers, and they also echo the behaviors of baby boomers. And when I say the size of the boomers, if you'll remember, that was one of the largest generations we had ever seen to date. We all marketed our products and services towards this group. They were at about 76, 78 million. You're looking at a size now of 80 million coming in, and we've only seen half of them so far. So what you have is, within 10 years, this group will have $1 trillion worth of buying power. We're going to spend time on the first two, their top two. 97% with a computer, 94% with a cell phone. This is already outdated. RJ, I'm embarrassed in front of you, I apologize. But my stats are outdated, I'm sure, within the last 3 months. Okay, so let's look at a computer for a minute. Imagine your world, you were born with this, okay? I'm just going to ask a yes or no type question. John, do you remember the first time you used a computer?
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember where you were?
I do.
You do. Do you remember what it looked like? You do. Okay. If you ask this generation, when was the first time you used a computer, you know what they'll do? They'll do this. It's like me asking, when was the first time you breathed? They woke up with a computer and cell phone, majority of them. Now, what does that mean to us? What does that mean to their behavior when they get in the workplace? What it means is most of you, some of you have children in the room, raise your hands. Okay. When your child wants to tell their friend there's a party somewhere, what's the first thing they may do?
Text.
Text. Quick response back. John, if you want a sample from Kevin or Jeff, what would you probably do? Email them. Okay. Now, if you're in this generation, home, technology, and media. Home life, very self-confident. I can overcome anything. Very high expectations. Technology says everything should be instant, and if it's not, something's wrong. Okay. Retention. First off, let me just tell you statistics. Of this group, and this now has changed in the last 8 months, 64% of this generation will leave a job before 1 year, and 72% will leave a job before 2 years. That is extreme high cost to a company, any company, small or large. When I stated this, I've had probably at least 50 young people from West Coast to East Coast say, my professor told us, look for the very best job right out of college, go to them, learn as much as you can, leave them within 1 year, go to the very next best company, learn as much, leave them. And when I tell this at one, so what's important to this group? Here's the top 5 or 6, and probably 1 and 3 are about the same, and let me explain that to you. Am I telling you we've got to baby and coddle them? No. However, if you want, when you hire the best talent and you want to keep them, these are the things that they're interested in. They want to be valued. This is no different for the last 50 years. People will leave jobs if they're making $5 million or $5 if they don't feel appreciated. This group, it means even more. And engagement, how you do it is, you take a little bit more time in mentorship. And you say to them, here's the big picture. Here's where our mission is. Here's where the company's going. Here's your piece of the pie. Here's how much you're going to put into the pie.